Hi everyone and welcome to Geared Up, the Profoto live shopping show. I'm Lisa and together with me today as usual is Chris Fain. So what is live shopping? Well, you can purchase straight from our stream if you're on our website. If you're on Facebook, please head on to profoto.com and click live shopping in the top and you will get the full experience. So basically you can shop from there or there depending on what device you're on. And on with today's show, it's about OCF II, Grid, Barndoor and Snoot. So let's get over to Chris in Atlanta.
What's up, party people? It's Chris from Profoto, and today we're going to be diving deeper into our OCF II line of modifiers. So yesterday we talked about the corrective gels, how easy they are to use, why you would want to use corrective gels. I may have said the wrong thing about half plus green, who knows, but we're still, I saw somebody was like, oh, hey, it's I think you're a little backwards on your thing. I'm like, I'm sorry, I've never claimed to be super smart. But today we're going to be diving into the OCF II Snoot, the barn doors, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the grids that you could also use with all these systems. So let's start off with Snoot. So the cool thing about a Snoot is it's going to take your light shape or the light spread and it's going to reduce it down to a nice tight light pattern. The other cool thing about it is because the end of where the light comes out of the Snoot is a pretty tight round circle, you're going to be able to maintain kind of that perfect circle shape of light coming out of your light shaping tool. Really, really cool stuff. Then that's what a Snoot does. Now let's talk about, I'm going to grab some grids. I have them all the way over here. So grids do similar things, but they're not designed to keep the light as perfectly tight in a circle like the Snoot does. The grids do something a little bit different. So as you can see, they kind of have this honeycomb look to them. So if you're looking right through, let me see if I can do this, my hands are tiny. If you're looking right through, like you can see my face, but if you just turn it just slightly, you can see that it starts to disappear. And that's because a grid is taking your light and it's pointing it right at what you want. Really, really cool light shaping tool. It also has a tendency to increase contrast, which when we talked about it with the soft boxes, doesn't actually change the light quality as far as the hardness or softness goes, but what's generally perceived as a contrast increase, and that's what you'll get from your grids. Cool thing about the OCF II grid and filter holder that we talked about yesterday with the gels is your things like your Snoot can be stacked onto it. So say you have a grid in there and you want to tighten up the light coming out of your Snoot a little bit more, you can actually put this right over the front of your OCF II holder and click that bad boy into place, which is kind of dope. Other thing that I forgot to mention that as I patted on the Snoot that I once again forgot to mention is it's collapsible. So if you like the idea of a Snoot and you also want to travel with it, this thing breaks down really, really tiny and goes into a case. It's really nice. So Snoot's dope. And then we have the barn doors. So the cool thing about the barn doors, as I'm losing my voice, is they're kind of built on the same platform that the OCF II grid and gel holder is built onto, only now you have these, I'm super sorry. I think Kate's gonna try to snag me like a bottle of water while we're chatting.
I'm just gonna cruise now.
But the cool thing is it's built on the same setup as our I think, did you die?
Hey, I'm good.
So it's built on the same platform as the OCF II grid and filter holder, only now you have these little leaves, these barn doors. Thank you so much. I apologize, everyone.
Right.
Thank you. Oh, it's way better.
Here we go.
At least I think it is. I'm probably gonna get all crazy again in a second. But these right here, they act like little flags. And what's dope about that is you can take it and say you don't want some light over here, and we'll talk about this here in the demo in just a second, but you can actually just start taking these little flags and cutting out the light that you don't want. So you can really get some precise lighting. And then on top of that, what makes it really cool is you can still use your grids. And then the other thing I didn't really talk about is because everything's magnetized, you could actually you could take your grids, or say you wanted to use a color corrective gel. You can pop your color corrective gel in there and then you could throw a grid on top of it if you wanted to. So you have a lot of options with the OCF II stuff. So enough yapping, let's take some photos. That's the fun stuff. So as we're setting this thing up, just like we talked about, your Snoot takes your light, tightens it up, perfect circle. Your grids takes the light, tightens it up, not a perfect circle, contrast increase. Barn doors, you can take the light and you can cut it however you want with your barn door lead. They're called leaves, but they act like little flags. So really cool stuff. You ready to rock, Kate?
I'm ready.
Cool. Thanks for bearing with us, party peeps. So we're going to start off with, we're not going to go through all the grids. We're going to do a 30 and a 10, just so you can see how the light pattern tightens up or opens up. Let's start with the 30. I have a 10 on there right now. So, and like I said, one of the cool things is they're magnetized, so it's easy to just kind of pop that grid out of there and pop it back in. Really, really sick. The OCF II stuff is dope. I always also recommend using a continuous lamp with a grid, just because you may miss your subject. It's possible, especially once you start getting down into like the 10-degree range. There we go, Kate. So, just watch how the light spread hits Kate, and then as we start to add grids, you can see it tighten up a whole lot more. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Lovely, beautiful light. Am I a little? I want to bring back the power just a skosh. Let's come back about. I don't necessarily know that I need to come back a half stop, so I'm going to go back about a 30.
Do you need to close the shoulder or open it out?
Give me open shoulder. Chin down a little bit though, because I'm shooting a little bit lower than you. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Cool. So now we're going to go 10 degree. Again, continuous, like really important here because that light's going to tighten up quite a bit. So I can see that I don't have it. Do I? Can you? Yeah, it's right there on her.
Yeah, we're good.
And you're going to see here the difference between 10 and 30. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Very, very cool. Tighten up the light a whole lot. So now let's throw a snoot on there. Let's snoot it up. I'm going to take the grid off, and we're just going to leave the grid filter holder on there, and I'm going to just put the snoot right over the top of it. Oh. Perfect. Sweet. And then again, you're going to want to use that continuous lamp, make sure it's pointed right at them. 3, 2, 1. Really, really cool. Because I'm a little bit further back, the spread's a little bit wider, but that's fine. And then let's go with the barn doors. And then you can see, oh.
I looked into the one.
Did you look right at it? I looked at it just, when I took the snoot off just a minute ago, I looked directly into it. So the cool thing about the barn doors is, one, you can move them around however you want. So I'm going to leave them this way because I think I want this larger, flatter door right here. But you can take it. I'm going to try to cut. Can you see the light with one eye and not with the other?
I can see it with both.
How about now?
That's better.
Okay. That probably opened up a little bit when I let go of it, but let's see what happens. So 3, 2, 1. It's a little bit there more than I want. Let's pull this back a touch more right there. Let's see if I was able to cut it here. Actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. Let's cut both of them and just make a sliver of light. Let's see what happens there. 3, 2, 1. There you go. That's actually really dope. So, and we'll, you know what? Let me power up just a little bit because I definitely chopped out some of that light with all the flags in there. So here we go, Kate. 3, 2, 1. Way better. Perfecto. Love that. And then I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Oh, let's just do one just because you can, and then we'll compare these bad boys and we'll sign up. Don't look at that, Kate.
I know, I did it again.
So let's throw the 10-degree grid behind the snoot because we can. Because we have a moment. We're good there. Lighting is fun. The cool thing about doing this stuff is you should experiment with it and just kind of learn what you love. This stuff, like I said, I have a blast with this. So we're kind of combining the best of both worlds with this. We're taking that grid to tighten up that light pattern, and then we have the snoot to give us more of that round look. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Very cool. Thanks, Kate. Let's compare these shots. Sick, 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 sick. We're gonna move this out of the way because it's right in the way. move all this stuff, put my booty in the air, like I just don't care. Let's go. Are we here? Living the dream?
We're doing it.
Very cool. Let's do this. So, when we look at the shots, let's go here. So, here we have the grids. Let's pull in, let's kind of just pull in everything. And then I'll show you the snoot with the grid here in a second. But so the grids are just going to give you, they're going to start to tighten the light up. You can see right here, we're starting to get a little bit of the gradient from that light starting to be pulled out of the scene just because of the grid focusing the light. And then when you jump down to a 10 degree, you can see how much more of that vignette we're getting because the light is going right where we want it, which is really cool. Then you go right here to the snoot. Still really, really tight. You can see that vignette again, but one of the things I want you to notice is look how smooth that light is. Very, very smooth light. It's a nice round circle. Very cool stuff. So that kind of gives you an idea of like what a grid's going to give you versus the snoot. So that contrast increase that you're seeing with the grid, you're not necessarily getting that contrast increase with the snoot. You're getting that tighter light and you're getting some light fall off on the edges, but it's a really smooth light, and that's mostly because too the diffuser on the front of our lights is really, really smooth anyway. But because you're not getting that contrast bump that you would get from the grids, that's it. And then the leaves of the Barndoor are dope just because you could take that light and you could kind of cut it exactly where you want. Like I was originally trying to cut half of Kate's face with the light, but at the distance I was working, it's probably not as easy a task to do. So what we did, we just changed up a little bit and we closed them both to kind of put just a strip of light right where Kate is. So you can see we have light at the top and the bottom, but look at this really nice line right here coming down the sides. Cool stuff. And then let's deactivate you, and then show you this right here. Oh, I reactivated something. What am I doing? I'm messing everything up. It's this one. No, it's not that one. I want this and this. Here we go. Perfect. So now we're able to take a grid and pair it with the snoot. So we're able to tighten up the light that was bouncing around inside the snoot in the first place. So the light that's coming out is pretty tight with that 10 degree, but still really smooth. We did get a little bit of a contrast bump. That's what the grid's going to do, but it's still a really nice circle. Look how clean that is. So you have a lot of control with things like grids and snoots and barn doors. They're really cool tools to play with and to be able to cut light and point it right where you want. And you don't always necessarily have to be using these as your main. You could use the snoot as your hair and get a nice circle right there. You could cut light here and there however you want with the barn doors. It's a really, really cool thing to know and understand why these light shaping tools do what they do. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to send this bad boy back to Lisa in Sweden. If you have any questions about one of our one-on-one breakout sessions, peace out, everybody.
Hi everyone, again. So I'm hearing myself, so I'm doing that. You can do the one-to-one with Gustav. He will treat you very well. If you ask him about our products, he knows everything, so just give him a call. The link is in the chat. I think Anders posted it before. And for tomorrow's episode, we are doing the OCF II creative gels. So Chris will be playing more with colors. So see you guys tomorrow.